Just a second. A very good evening, everyone. I, Sneha R., President of Zest, the English Literary Society of the Department of English, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya College, University of Delhi, I'm honored to have been given an opportunity to welcome you all to the final lecture of Zest Lecture Series 2021, Post-Pandemic World, from Pandemonium to Paradise. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, said William Shakespeare. But the title of this lecture, From NSD to Unpaused, What Next in the Post-Pandemic World, does make a difference because this session is so very special to all of us at Zest. Shakespeare also said, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. Going by this, our speaker today has played 100 acts, touching 1 billion lives, one act at a time. We recently saw her as Sangeeta Wagmare, the school teacher who was deployed in a COVID war room in Unpaused Season 2. All this from a spectacular and dreamy childhood in Maharashtra and subsequently the National School of Drama. From Court to Gullak, from Taj Mahal 1989 to Hotel Salvation, and from Operation MBBS to Unpaused II, always playing many roles and being that soft and gentle touch of adjustment to this wonderful world, with people asking her, how do you create such magical performances? Here's the one and only Geetanjali Kulkarni. We're extremely honored and privileged to have you with us today, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much.
On behalf of Zest, the English Literary Society of the Department of English, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya College, University of Delhi, I earnestly welcome you to this session, From NSD to Unpaused, What Next in the Post-Pandemic World? I would like to warmly, thank you, ma'am. I would like to warmly welcome our teacher in charge, Dr. Rohit P., and the other faculty members. I would also like to welcome all the attendees of today's lecture, and I hope you'll enjoy this session with all of us. Before beginning the event, I would like to inform you all that this session would be recorded and it would be posted on the Zest YouTube channel. The feedback form would be released during the event. Using that feedback, your certificates would be made. You may drop your questions in the chat box. Select questions will be addressed by ma'am during the Q&A session in the end. Guessing all of you would have been bored by this dull monologue of mine. Let's carry on with the session and think together on what would come next in this post-pandemic world. Ma'am, may we begin with the session?
Yeah, sure. Yes. Why not? Thank you.
So, as you all know, it will be in a conversational mode. Ma'am, we thought that all of us would have a lot of questions. So we've picked up a few questions which will sort of help you cover everything of your wonderful career, which is still, which will still produce a lot of works which all of us would enjoy. My first question is, how did your childhood experiences and circumstances shape you up as a theatre person and actor? Do you remember any incident from your childhood which helped you decide the moment of awakening sort of thing?
There wasn't, I don't think there was moment of awakening or something, but I was naturally, I think, a performer. I was very comfortable performing since my childhood. I remember one incident very clearly. I was in kindergarten and my mother had taken me to a circus. And after watching the circus, the next day when I came back to the school, I became that clown or joker, whatever. And everybody, the whole school was around me and I was performing. Everybody was laughing. So I still remember, and I got a high, when I was performing. So I think that still is there in me, and I still like performing. And I just, it's my passion, and I think nothing else could have been, my any other career for me other than acting.
Yes, ma'am. So good to know, because when you're making some people laugh, you will feel so good. And they say that National School of Drama changes a person forever. How did your time at NSD shape you up as a person?
I consider NSD as my rebirth, I feel, because I went there at the age of 20. So I had some, I was not at all, in that age, you're not very serious about work, you don't want to study, you want everything very quickly in life. And that that NSD changed, my perception towards life. And acting is not just, emoting or by hearting lines or, only for glamour or something like that. It is more than that. It gives you a perspective of life. You can, there has to be some aesthetics in what you do. There has to be some, it should be your expression, what you want to tell, what story you want to be part of, what is the philosophy behind it, what is the history of art. All these things were introduced to me at NSD. Before that, I was not a very good student at all in my school. I never studied. I never got good grades. I was not at all interested in studies. I never wanted to read. I never wanted to be, I thought everything comes very easily in life. And that changed, when I went to NSD. And I'm very thankful for that, because those 3 years were the best period of my life. A lot of ups and downs, but it taught me, it gave me a lens to look at life. It gave me a path that how I should, walk through, this career. And I feel that acting is not my career. It's not just my profession. It's my way of life. And NSD taught me that.
Yes, ma'am. Acting being the way of life. That is a very amazing story and inspiring. Next, Kamakshi would like to ask the question. Over to you, Kamakshi.
Thank you, Sneha. Hello, ma'am. You founded Drama School Mumbai. What differences going to an acting school make in the career of an actor?
I was one of the founding members of Drama School Mumbai. Jehan, it was basically a brainchild of Jehan Manekshaw, and Padma Damodaran and me. We helped him, to make that dream come true. And it was, I think, training is very important. Not necessarily you have to go to a school, a formal school. You can take, you can learn from your experiences. You can be part of a theater group. You can learn from an experienced actor, or from a folk artist, or from a person who does theater. So, or you can learn from your own experience. You can be self-taught. So I don't feel that there has to be a formal school. But at the same time, I feel, especially in today's world, school, a drama school or a training space will be very helpful, because a lot of different kind of people come there. So that exchange, acting is not just about myself. It's about my life experience. It's about give and take between people. It's about knowing about different classes. Especially in India, there are so many diverse people, diverse cultures, diverse habits. So you have to absorb that. And for that, a training school or a drama school becomes a very, it's a very conducive space for that, for that exchange. Because if I go to a school, if I go to a theater group from Mumbai, there will be limited kind of people over there. But when I went to National School of Drama, there was Jilmil Hazarika from Assam. There was, Anita Neha Khalko from Ranchi. There was people from Nainital, from Indore. Swanand was from Indore. Nawaz was from UP. So there were different kinds of people from different economic background, from different religion, from different caste, from different culture. And that exchange, is very important. I'm from Maharashtra. I have a typical understanding of theater. I come from a middle class family. I have certain perception about, I had a certain perception about literature, about performances, which was, broken when I went to NSD. When I saw Jilmil Hazarika on stage, I had not seen such kind of acting on stage at all. So I think that is very important. That's why I feel that schools, and not just nationally, you can go to international schools, you can go to different workshops, you can go to Adi Shakti, you can go to Kerala, anywhere, Manipur, and you should learn with different people around you. Because if you end up being with same kind of people, same kind of language you are speaking, same kind of class you belong to, then it becomes very boring. That diversity will give you that energy, that understanding, that view to play characters, I feel.
True, enlightening, ma'am. My next question for you is, what were the emotions you were going through when your first debut was released? Also, what role did Paresh Mukashi play in shaping you up as an actor?
See, when I came from NSD, I was really lost, because, when you, I didn't know what exactly I need to do. I didn't know what I have learned. It's not it's NSD or any training school is not like a factory. You go there 3 years and you come out as a skillful actor. No, you have to find your craft. You get lost because you have had so many things in 3 years. You don't know exactly what is your, way of acting. What is your craft? What is your skill set? So of course, it took a lot of years for me to understand what exactly I want to tell, what is my expression, and what kind of skill set I have as an actor. So in the beginning, I was just finding my way. I was doing a lot of amateur plays with Avishkar. There's a very famous group called Avishkar, which was run by Sulbha Deshpande, late Sulbha Deshpande. She was a veteran actor. And so I did some shows. So it was not a particular debut as such, but those 4 years, 5 years were really, trying to find my way. I was really scared. I didn't know what to do. I was not sure about myself. I was not sure whether I'm able to deliver or not. But when I started doing my first professional play in Marathi, it was called Unpaused II. It was written by Paresh Mukashi and directed by him also. Paresh Mukashi is the person who directed and wrote Harish Chandrachi Factory, which was an Oscar entry from India, like almost 10, 12 years back. So he has a very wonderful style of writing. It was a comedy play, and we did almost 500 shows of that play in 2 years. And he actually helped me a lot, to whatever I had in mind, how to execute that. So really, he hand holding, हो गया मेरे साथ उनका, मतलब उन्होंने मुझे बिल्कुल बच्चे की तरह ना, he taught me again, and I was like, and then I realized, oh, this is what I learned in NSD, I can now apply. And because I did 500 shows, thanks to Marathi commercial plays, because they give us that kind of opportunity. So coming every day doing performances, and that was a very good practice for me, every day in any situation, you have to go and perform, you have to travel, and you have to be on stage. Many a times our shows, our travel time we used to get stuck in traffic. Then in bus only, we used to start doing our makeup. And immediately after getting out of bus, we used to go on stage. So all these things prepared me as an actor, not to be, no, I want to, get into my character and then I can be on stage. No, there is no time for that. People have bought tickets and I have to go and perform. So that's a sort of readiness as an actor, that sort of, being alert, being aware, and going in and performing. So that whole confidence was given to me by Unpaused II, my first commercial play. And of course, the whole credit goes to Paresh Mukashi, because he really held my hand, and I worked on 3 plays with him, and really that made me aware what kind of stories I want to tell, what kind of stories I have to be part of. And I little bit started understanding about my craft, about my skill set, and got confidence. That is very important. To gain confidence as an actor is very important, I feel.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Abhipsa would be asking the next question. Over to you, Abhipsa.
Hi.
Thank you, Kamakshi. Hello, ma'am. Very nice to meet you. So my question to you is, when presented with a script for an upcoming movie or show, what all features influence your decision of whether or not you'll be taking it on?
The very first thing I think is important is the story. As I said before also, whether I want to tell this story or not, whether I want to be part of this story or not, whether this is what I want to tell, as a human being, not just as an actor, So actually this I got, this clarity I got when I was doing one play in Marathi. After Paresh Mukashi, working with Paresh Mukashi, I did a play with another writer and director. and it was a very commercial sort of comedy, and it was like a popcorn play. Aap popcorn khate ho, or you see a story. It was written in that way also, but I couldn't relate to it. I was feeling it was a little regressive and thought it was the WhatsApp pe jokes aate hain औरतों पे वगैरह या शादी पे, something like that, and I used to cringe in the wings. My God, I don't know, and I was trying to understand why am I not happy doing this play. It was doing quite well. It was typical commercial play. But I was like, I was not happy at all. And at that time I understood I'm not that sort of an actor who can play any part in any play or in any film, or I can be a part of any story. I'm not that sort of a person. You have to understand yourself. Acting, I think in anything you do in life, you have to understand yourself very well. What I want to do. That should be very clear. Or you should be such a person that it is something very different from me and I'm not at all connected. You should have that kind of capacity. But I'm not that sort of a person. I need that connection. And I understood that because I was very unhappy doing that play. And then I decided that I'm going to do plays, or I'm going to be part of things which I really feel like doing, either the director or the story or the whole, the character is something which is very important. So it has to connect with me. So it has to have a connection with me. So that play really opened my eyes as a performer. And then I started to be very, very choosy. I saw to it that really matters to me to be part of this story. And then, so for me, story is very important. Secondly, the character, it should challenge me, or even if like it's a repetitive character which I have played, then also it has to have some layers. It has to be complex. And if both the things are not there, it has to give me a good check.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering my question honestly. So next question will be asked by Nandana. Over to you, Nandana.
Thank you, Abhipsa. It's a pleasure to meet you, ma'am. So my question to you is, fully inhabiting the mind, manners, and reality of a fictional character can be as alienating as it is rewarding. So have you felt stuck in any role?
What I understand from your question is that while doing rehearsals or while doing any character, while playing any character, do I get stuck or do I don't understand something?
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
No, I think she means, yeah, Nandana, you can go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am, it means like, have you become that affectionate to a character and you felt like after
stuck in the role or something. Stuck in the role.
You're still stuck in that role.
Actually, it depends on the story. Like I was doing this play called Gajab Kahani. I performed it in Marathi also and in Hindi also. But first, when I performed it in Marathi, I was playing in this the story is about an elephant. It's based on Jose Saramago's The Elephant's Journey. It's based on that novel. And I played an elephant in that play. So it used to affect me a lot. Not emotionally, it used to affect me a lot because it was that elephant story and how humankind is towards animals, how we don't care about anything. We are in our own world and how we use things, So that used to give me a lot of pain, like that elephant crossed Alps and elephants belong to, tropical area. And because of Queen's fancy, whims and fancy, he went to Portugal, and from there he crossed Alps and went to Vienna. So that Vienna. So that was a play which disturbed me a lot, as a human being. I felt that we are so cruel, and I love animals, so I used to feel that pain. Not exactly that. It like when I was doing Unpaused, when I was shooting I had told my family that I'm not going to talk with you for next 4-5 days because this role is very important for me. And our timings was also weird when we were shooting. Is to go at 3:30 in the morning and come back at 10:30 in the night. So I didn't talk with anyone because I knew that I had to be immersed in this. You know, it is not a thing where I just buy out the line and I go in. It's not something like that. Then only that gravity, you know, that power of that whole story will be portrayed. So it depends on what kind of story it is. But at the same time, yeah, some things I enjoy the process of rehearsal. I like to be, you know, engrossed or dwell myself into it. So yeah, but I don't get stuck. I don't think but that part is there in me. You know, all the characters which I play, we have some exchange, and I think they have given me something which is there in me. That's what I feel.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That answer is so hard. So Richa would be asking the next question. Over to you, Richa.
Thank you, Nandana. Good evening, ma'am. It's a pleasure to see you here today. So, ma'am, my question is that you have played the roles of Shanti Mishra in Gullak, Deen Sadhna in Operation MBBS 2, Shushila in Arya 2, and Ram Pyar in Photograph. So, have you found yourself relating to any of these characters? And also, I was asking, which role did you find the most difficult to play?
Completely you cannot identify with each and every character. It's very difficult because you know, they are from different worlds. Like Ram Pyari is a house help, you know, she's a migrant, and so my world and her world is completely different. There is quite a bit of similarity between maybe Dr. Sadhana Sharma, because she's a professional, I am also a professional. Maybe some similarity between Shanti Mishra and me. So not with it, but there are some similarities, and of course there are a lot of dissimilarities also. But like for example, when I was playing Sushila Shekhar in Arya, she's a corrupt person, you know, she's an aggressive person, you know, she's a go-getter, she can do anything, you know, she has a lot of greed, and I couldn't completely relate to that. So I did a lot of backstory, you know, why she's that. So I had to prepare a lot for that, you know, because it was difficult because I don't understand, you know, as a person, I don't understand that greed, you know. I feel that क्यों करना इतना नहीं मिल रहा है ना अपने को तो छोड़ दो. I'm sort of my thought is like that. But Sushila Shekhar is not that. She wants everything in life. She wants money. She wants that power. You know? So I did a lot of backstory. I did a lot of work on that, so that it is convincing for me. You know, for as a person, I feel convinced that I can play this. So yeah, there are a lot of dissimilarities many a times, and there are a lot of similarities. But for me, as an actor, playing Shanti Mishra was a character. As a character was challenging. The reason being, you know, the dialogues are in meter. It has a dialect, and I am a Maharashtrian. I'm playing a person from UP, and with a specific dialect, and the dialogues are not, you know, very in your own. It's not my pace, you know. That the writer has written something in a particular pace. So I had to achieve that, and it had to be very quick, you know. It has to be very, you know, it has to be very. मतलब क्या कहते हैं उसका पेस, उसका रिदम बहुत अलग था मेरे से, या जनरली हम जब परफॉर्म करते हैं. So that was quite challenging, and I enjoy playing Shanti Mishra because I like that, you know, I have to go into a space which gives me a lot of, you know, jitters. You know, I'm very jittery when I want to do this because it is difficult, you know, to say as it is. You know, and TVF people are like Durgesh and Palash, you know, they push you. They don't want any word to be changed here and there, and they want that meter, they want that punchline, you know, they want that timing. So they demand a lot, and that's very challenging as an actor. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering my question. Abhipsa would be asking the next question. Over to you, Abhipsa.
Thank you, Richa. So, ma'am, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
You recently completed the 200th show as Dayal in Pia Bharitiya, which is an adaptation of the play 12th Night by Shakespeare. And you spoke about how even if you perform 500 times, you would still enjoy it and add improvisations, which you would carry through to the subsequent shows. So how did the pandemic add its touch to your perception of the theater space and your role?
How I understand this question is like, actually, not that every time we do improvisations while doing shows, but at the same time, because we have done 200 shows, we have played that character so many times. So you try to, bring in more nuances to it, the exchange, the dialogues between, or a scene, or a monologue, you try to search more, you try to bring in more details into it. It's natural because you always we are searching something as an actor. And not necessarily do improvisations, but just trying to find more fineness in the performance. The second part, when we actually last February, when we performed after a gap of almost 8 months, we all were, as a group, we were really very emotional, because thankfully we had a play. Thankfully, it was a popular play, and it was a houseful show, though it was just 50% of capacity. All the whole run was houseful. So we were feeling very fortunate as performers, and coming back to theater was really something very overwhelming, because we were very emotional at that time as a group. And yeah, I think post-pandemic, we have to rethink about theater. I think because I never believe in this, that theater is going to die. Theater can never die because it's our need. I feel that live performance is our basic need. It's like food and shelter and everything. So it is our basic need. So we won't ever, not do theater. It will change form. It will be in different kinds. It will be in different spaces, or the audience, or the number of audience, it will change. But we'll keep performing. We'll be telling stories, and there will be listeners. There will be observers or audience for those stories. So yeah, maybe post-pandemic, we have to really think about our spaces, the way we have the kind of stories we want to tell, where we have to tell, and what kind of audience, how many audience is going to be there. So yeah, but theater will live, and it will maybe change, but it is going to be there forever till we are there, till human beings are there.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering my question. Next question will be asked by Nidhi. Over to you, Nidhi.
Thank you, Abhipsa. Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, my question to you is that your role as Dean Dr. Sadhna Sharma, who was heading the doctors of a medical college during the pandemic, touched so many hearts, and it brought a lot of tears too. So how exactly did you prepare for this role? And how was it different from the rest? Because you portrayed such an emotional character, and it produced such an emotional response from everyone that a person even commented that Dean ma'am is our hero, and that, oh, I can't stop crying. I've been crying for a week now.
Yeah. It was a role which touched a lot of hearts, because as we know that people have gone through so much during this pandemic, and especially we have seen so many stories of frontline workers, and especially doctors and nurses who have put in so much of effort. They put in so much of work, and it's such a difficult job to do. And every, I think, person felt that why I'm not a doctor or a nurse or in medical or in health profession, so that I could help others. While doing that role, I think we were into, it was after the first lockdown. So we were already hearing so much of stories. We were reading so much of stories. We saw so many videos on news channels, and also I think I knew the life of doctors, and I have got many friends of me who are doctors. So I asked them also, and there were actually 2 doctors in our team. So one of the writers is a doctor, so he helped us a lot about the medical terminology used, or the processes, that intubation वगैरह जो कुछ होता है, which I use, for the patient. So all these things, the doctor was there. So we used to rehearse and do it. And as far as rest of the thing is there where I, fight with the student and all. So those things happen. I am also a teacher and I know what kind of क्या कहते हैं ना, students और teacher में कुछ एक ये होता है, what is it? Because generally teachers want students to be disciplined and students have a different point of view or whatever, whatever conflict they have as teachers. You all must be having conflicts with your teachers, and your teachers also must be having a lot of complaints about you. So that I have gone through that as a teacher, so it was very relatable. As far as medical terminology and processes and were concerned, we were helped by the doctor who is also a writer, Dr. Praveen. So yeah, so it was but that speech itself was so well written. We had just gone through that pandemic and lockdown, and so we all knew what is going on, and that's why I think that became so viral, and everybody was related to it. And I was when I read that speech, I was also very emotional when I read it for the first time.
Thank you so much for answering my question. Ma'am, I have another question for you. So you acted as a doctor fighting COVID in Operation MBBS and a widowed government school teacher who was posted in a COVID war room in Unpaused II, both set during the pandemic. So how did these make you see the pandemic differently?
Yeah, I think when I was doing the scene in Operation MBBS, when we were trying to, control the crowd who were trying to come in the hospital, barge into the hospital. At that time, I felt, while doing that scene, my God, it must have been so difficult for doctors and hospital administration, to give beds to people, to control this mob, and there was so much of panic. People were not understanding. Even doctors didn't know what kind of disease is this. So I was reading about it. I was, I was seeing these videos. But when I really did that scene, I could completely, I was talking to Amrit, our director, and I said, my God, can you imagine what doctors must have gone through? It's so difficult. Even while enacting this scene, it's so difficult for me. What must have happened to them who are actually facing this kind of situation? And that's why I feel, as an actor, as a human being, I like this profession because it makes me get into situations which generally maybe I wouldn't have, as a person, I wouldn't have been able to experience. And so, yeah, that really made me very aware, very sensitive towards what, doctors must have gone through. And again, when I was calling in that Unpaused war room, when Sangeeta Wagmare talks to the person, when she gets angry and, that outburst happens. At that time, we also call so many, call centers, and we talk with so many, these call center people, and, many times you get angry at them, and, you don't know what they must be going through. So these situations really, I think, made me more aware, more sensitive towards people. And I always had different kind of love for teachers, because I've seen teachers in villages and, in ZP schools or in BMC schools, they go out of their way. And, so I've seen teachers who do a lot for children and for their schools. So I really have a great respect for teachers and, of course, doctors. So these stories were once again, a reminder to me that you have to be considerate, you have to be sensitive, you have to empathize with people, and understand people rather than just judging or just just passing comments on people.
Thank you so much for answering the question, ma'am. Ma'am, Shilpi will be answering the next, asking you the next question. So over to you, Shilpi.
Thank you, Neeta.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, Gullak is so real and so relatable that it's scary and doesn't look a bit scripted. So how much room was actually there for improvisation in Gullak? And then As an actor, do you think improvisation plays an important role to make it look real?
I think in Gullak, it is a very well rehearsed act. We rehearse a lot because, as I said, it is the writing is such that the writing is the hero or the heroine of the series. So we have to be very we have to have that rhythm. We have to know that rhythm. We have to have that language, dialect intact. So yeah, rehearsal is very important. And when we are prepared with rehearsal, then while doing it, we can improvise. And if there is some space for improvisation, of course we do. And then there are it's not a talky scene. Then of course there is a lot of scope for improvisation or exchange between the characters. And yeah, I think improvisation is important, but I feel I come from that school of thought that where you have to prepare yourself completely, and then you can. So the word improvise is improving on something, no? So that something has to be there. Then you can improvise. If you just do improvisations and not understand about what the base is, then it becomes very difficult. So you have to have full control, and then you can play. You can then improvise, but you have to have full control on whatever scenes or dialogues or whatever exchange is happening in that scene. So when you have full control, then you can think about improvisations. Not thinking about improvisations from beginning only. Improvise nahi kiya phir bhi chalega, but the basics should be very clear. I feel. I come from that school of thought, not necessarily. There are actors who are like fully believe in improvisation, and that's not wrong. But I come from this school of thought.
Okay, ma'am. Richa will be asking a question. Over to you, Richa.
Thank you, Shilpi. Ma'am, I have got one more question that we as literature students often engage in close reading and critical analysis of many plays and also study their reception in terms of acting. So how important do you think that good literature and literary analysis is for the process of acting?
It's very important. I think, as I said, script is the base and good literature is very important. What is good literature? As far as my understanding is that good literature is something where every person can, relate to it, or every person has his own perception about it, not necessarily it's not like a moral of the moral of the story is, it's not like that, it has got so many layers, it's complex. You can't tell, whether Sangeeta Wagmare is right or wrong, or, the situation. No, she has to be very honest, and but she has gone through so much. She cannot be honest, maybe. We don't know what did she do, whether she came back to the COVID center war room again or not. So all this, if there are many layers, and, I did this film called Court, and in that I played public prosecutor. So, Kabir Kala Manch activist saw that movie, and she said that one of the, who was accused and was jailed for quite a long time. Then she was acquitted, but she came and said, you played that public prosecutor exactly like our ma'am, but our ma'am came in car. You traveled in a train, local train. So that's the beauty of the writer, So he also portrayed that public prosecutor's struggle. She is not a black and white character. She has her own challenges, She might, we might feel that she's not a good person, but at the same time, she's serving her whole family. She's traveling in a train. She has to pick up her child from the creche. So she is doing her mundane daily chores also. And at the same time, she's coming to the court and fighting this. So this complexity has to be there. You also feel for her. So that has to be there. That is a sign of good literature. And I think whether it's a play or it's a screenplay, it is a form of literature. So it has to be layered. It has to be complex. And जितने layers होंगे, जितने आप depth में जाओगे, आपको अलग अलग, and that's why Shakespeare is so popular even today, or Mahabharata, because it's a good literature, there is so much of possibilities.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's very nice to have this conversation with you.
Thank you.
Nandana would be asking the next question. Over to you, Nandana.
Thank you, Richa. So, ma'am, I've got another question for you. You and Atul Kulkarni believe in a minimalistic lifestyle, and you mentioned that you were at your farmhouse throughout the lockdown. How important do you think minimalism is? Because even in plays like Waiting for Godot, the stage setting and characters are minimal. How do you think the lifestyle and acting merge this way?
I think that's philosophy of my life, and even Atul's life also. I think you should be able to survive in any situation, and that's more challenging. Actually, if you have things in abundance, उसमें तो आप काम कर ही सकते हो, but when you don't have anything, when it's a bare stage and you have to create everything, that's more challenging as an actor, as a performer. Same thing in life, I stay in a village, and when we stay in village, we don't have every luxury which you can easily get. And you don't have restaurants, you don't have fancy malls, or you just can't go out and get whatever you like. So those, I like experimenting with myself, going through such situations. It makes you aware, it makes you understand life in a much better way, and that is very important. And that is important. Like, I used to do this program called Goshtaranga, which was performing children's literature in rural and especially tribal areas of Maharashtra. So I used to run this program with young actors from Maharashtra, and used to go to different kind of schools and perform. So there, where we performed, it was like ashram schools, residential government schools. There we didn't have electricity, we didn't have any equipment or stage lights or anything like that. They just had to open their trunk, wear whatever. There was some basic costume and put some safa or utariye or something like that, and create that character with minimum property, and that whole world used to get created, and children used to love those performances. So that was the challenge. And so that you can reach to many people, we could take Pia Berupia to any part of the world, because our stage property is minimum. We're just actors, 8-10 actors who are creating that play. So I think minimalism is very important in life, and especially in today's era, because we have so many options, we have so many gadgets, we have so many, opportunities, everything there's so much of abundance. So minimalism, I think, helps you to focus. It also narrows down your choice, and just you understand what exactly you want. It's a very ecological way of living, and that is important in today's age. We are seeing, because of climate change and everything, what is happening all around us. So I think it is very important, and it's a philosophy of life. It's not just about performance or about about any particular form. It is about life, and you have to understand. When I was making my house, in Bombay, I was renovating my flat. At that time, I come across one Zen saying, which said that your crux of your house lies in its emptiness. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, there has to be space, there has to be, nothingness. So I think that is very important.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I completely agree to what you said. So Muskan will be asking the next question. So over to you, Muskan.
Hi, Muskan.
I think Muskan is facing a network issue. ma'am, I'll ask a question. That is, you founded Quest, an NGO, with the motivation to pursue quality-related issues in early childhood education. How important do you think early childhood education is, and what motivated you to form the NGO?
I was part of NGO called Quest. Now, presently, I'm not working with the NGO, but yes, I spent 12 years working for Quest, Quality Education Support Trust, which is working in the field of children's education and to bring quality to education. Actually, when me and my husband, we started off our careers, we thought that we have to have, wahi logo mein ghumna. As I said, you have to search, you have to go into different worlds as person to enrich yourself. You cannot be just confined to your own people, your own comfort zone. So we thought that as actors, as human beings, it will help us, if we go into different areas, like we have done quite a little bit of work in environment, ecology and environment. One of our friends are into it. So we have created one land where it's like a mini forest. Or this education thing, we were interested in doing it because we felt that education is very important. As I told you, as actor, when I got trained at NSD, I really understood what is the value of education in one's life. So we started attending one study group, which actually, then that this Quest happened, and then we worked for 12 years, and really it enriched me as a person. And I feel that education is very important, especially early education is very important, because 0 to 3 and 3 to 6 are the formative years of a human being. If the child gets good education, good nutrition, good care, good medical facilities, then I'm sure that most of the problems which the child or the society faces will, come down. So I feel early childhood education is very important, and we should all work in that in whatever way we can. It's our responsibility as community, because the coming generation has to be healthy, has to be a very matured kind of people. We should have एक ऐसी जनरेशन आनी चाहिए जो matured है, जो हैंडल कर सके कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज लाइफ में. एंड मतलब जो कहते हैं ना, मराठी में कहते हैं सक्षम है, हिंदी में भी वो कह सकते हैं ना, सक्षम है ना. तो अगर we have to create that kind of generation, then as adults we have to contribute. So I think early childhood education is very important by telling stories in whatever capacity you have. Not necessarily you have to form an NGO and do it. You can tell stories. You can, work in medical field or with Anganwadis. You can train Anganwadi teachers in whatever form. But we have to put in as a community a lot of efforts, especially in rural and tribal areas, and also in cities, and work for children. Yeah, I feel that is very important.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I mean, that really, because as you said, actors are also formed in that process only when they get the potential.
Yeah, absolutely. And you understand, आपको जितना exposure बचपन में मिल जाएगा ना, उतना आप, when you grow, you will cherish those moments. You will be a more happy person, and you will accept the world. You will accept the diversity. You will become inclusive. All those qualities have to be imbibed in childhood. Otherwise, you can cultivate it. I'm not saying you cannot cultivate it, but things which you imbibe in the childhood, then that becomes your nature. That nature is formed in those 6, 7 years, 8 years of life. So if it has to come naturally, now today, whatever I am is I cultivated it as a person, to understand different cultures, to accept different people, to accept different kinds of, lifestyles. So that quality, I developed it when I went to National School of Drama, when I met different kinds of people. But if that happens during childhood, a person's childhood, then it can be more easier. That path will be more easier.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So I would next, Nandana would be asking the last question. Nandana?
Yeah. Hi, Nandana.
Hi, ma'am. I have got one more question for you.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be for the budding actors? The members of the Zest team is also here in the audience, and also for the students as well.
I think as budding actors, firstly, you have to do a lot of theater, I feel, because it prepares you as an actor. You do theater in your college or in whatever amateur group. You should read a lot of plays. You should go to different parts of India. You should meet different kinds of people, and make your life more enriched. You should talk. You should have conversations with different kinds of people. And there is a lot of collab. Today, the world is not एक director होगा, एक writer होगा, नहीं. It is a world of collaboration. So you have to create things together. You have to come together, write a script together, direct it in a group. Because if many brains are there, many minds are there, it will be more rich scripts or rich stories. अगर एक ही जने ने बनाया, एक ही जने ने direct किया, तो it becomes very unidimensional many a times. So I feel there can be one leader, but I think you should all collaborate a lot, and collaborate not just with actors. There's so much of stories around us. You should watch documentaries, or you should read newspapers, and so that you can understand people. You should meet different kind of community theater is very important, because you will portray different kind of characters. We need to see different people on screen, on stage. So ये कभी होगा जब हम अपने comfort zone से बाहर जाएंगे. So then only we will portray such stories or tell stories, such kind of. So I think you should all collaborate, work together, meet different kinds of people. From आप अगर एक दीनदयाल आपके कॉलेज से हो, लेकिन और भी कॉलेजेस हैं जो अलग अलग में भी सबर्ब्स में हैं, दिल्ली के सबर्ब्स में, जो शायद आप उनसे बात भी नहीं करते हो. आपको योर वर्ल्ड एंड देयर वर्ल्ड इज कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स. अगर आप यू आर फ्रॉम इंग्लिश डिपार्टमेंट, देन मे बी डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ उर्दू और हिंदी या संस्कृत या जो भी कोई डिपार्टमेंट, उससे आप एक्सचेंज आपने करना चाहिए. अलग अलग हिस्ट्री, तो उनसे कुछ हिस्ट्री का एक पार्ट है और यू कन्वर्ट इट इनटू थिएटर, या साइंस का कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट है यू कन्वर्ट इट इनटू थिएटर. So I think theater language is changing. So you have to understand, and it will keep on changing. So एक particular form of theater ही proscenium ही theater करना ऐसा नहीं है. Documentary theater भी है. एक ऐसा theater होता है जो जिसमें बहुत selected audience आता है और देखता है. 8 जने होते हैं and there is 1, 2 or 3 people performing in different spaces. So theater is not necessarily proscenium theater. Theater is not necessarily street theater. Theater is not necessarily only folk form. You have to explore different forms. And for that, I think training schools, drama schools are very important. Collaboration is very important. Life experience is very important. You just not, sit in front of TV and just watch whatever these platforms, though I am part of it. I won't prescribe you कि तुम सिर्फ यही देखो, या वो Instagram और Facebook, बहुत ही limited world है उसमें. वो भी देखो, मैं ये नहीं कहूंगी. Of course, you should consume, you're young and you should do all these things. But इससे भी ज्यादा है दुनिया. जाओ, खाओ पियो, अलग अलग जगह का खाना खाओ, अलग अलग जगह का पानी पियो. ये बॉटल्ड वाटर हम पी रहे हैं हमेशा, खाना नहीं खा रहे हैं, कुछ भी है एक ही तरह का खाना खा रहे हैं, अलग अलग लोगों से नहीं मिल रहे हैं. देखो जाके 90% ऑफ इंडिया डजंट लुक लाइक सलमान खान और दीपिका पादुकोण और व्हाटएवर. your ideals are. So there are different body shapes, there are different height, there are different color, different texture. And this is so beautiful. क्या लोग कपड़े पहनते हैं, कैसे बोलते हैं, what is the sound? Standardization is very boring. It's so boring. It is needed, but it's very boring. So you have to get out, you have to, सब jeans पहन रहे हैं, सब ये पहन रहे हैं, वही क्या कपड़े पहन रहे हैं, क्या वो शॉपर स्टॉप है, whatever, जो कुछ ब्रांड्स सबके हैं, Zara या whatever, जो कुछ कोई पहनता है, तो अलग अलग कपड़े पहनो. There was this teacher of mine who used to teach aesthetics, and I'm a very boring person. So I always see today what I'm wearing. This is a ponytail, and in NSD also I used to wear ponytail, and today also I'm wearing a ponytail. So my teachers, no, why you should tie your hair like this. You should leave your hair. You should carry your dupatta and just walk like a queen, or tie it as a safa and walk like a man. And you should experiment with your clothes. You should experiment with your hair. So your body language, So वैसे don't become boring. It's like मैं comfortable है, लेकिन मैं अगर ऐसे आऊँ तो क्या होगा, यहाँ पे फूल डालूं तो क्या होगा. तो ये सब आपने को करना चाहिए, और अलग अलग लोगों से मिलो. आपको डर लगे कि अरे मैं ये प्रोस्टिट्यूट से बात कर पाऊंगी क्या, नहीं करो. कैसे होगा उनका जीना, क्या होगा, वो कैसे आई होगी. सो डिफरेंट, अलग अलग दुनिया के लोगों से मिलो, बात करो, डरो मत.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was really, really a wonderful advice.
It was very nice too, ma'am. That the advice is really relevant these days, because we just are stuck inside our homes and we are not trying anything. And so we have a yes, sir. We have a surprise for you, ma'am, from all of us. Okay, ma'am. So you know about haikus, right? So Pavan from our department wrote a haiku for you. So we have 2 different templates, of course.
So thank you. Yeah.
And so this is your...
Sneha, both are minimalist.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
My fame on websites, through movies, theaters, and quests, I live several lives. So that is the haiku. And yeah, Nidhi and Nisha, they were so excited that they prepared in 2 different templates. I'll just show you the other as well.
Okay.
And we were also excited. It's really amazing, man. And look at this. My fame on websites, through movies, theater, and quest, I live several lives.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is like very beautiful. Very beautiful. Thank you very much.
Can I have a word, Nisha?
Yes,
yeah, please, sir. Yeah.
I'm Pramesh Shatnakar. Sorry, I joined in a little late. I'm on the department.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very quickly, want to add to what you've said about the theatre continuing. Yes, theatre, I also believe theatre is eternal. As long as human beings are, as long as 2 human beings are there, there'll be theatre.
Yeah.
So that's okay. The other thing that you said was how you, in acting the part, you experienced something which you never have experienced. I keep telling my students, and they never listen to me, as you rightly said, teachers kabhi wo sunte nahi hai. So I am speaking and sort of shooting a gun from your shoulder. The problem, I keep telling them, you are blessed because you have joined English Honours, because your 3 years you have been paid, and the government is paying for you to read Homer, Shakespeare, Milton, and you are expected to do nothing else but read all this. You are blessed because you are being trained to empathize.
Absolutely.
And empathy expands your identity. There's only one thing that expands your identity, that is empathy. And literature, theatre, by acting, when you act that role, you communicate emotions to your audience and they begin to feel for what you are feeling. And that's a huge magic.
Yeah.
And the whole question is, in a very real sense, our identity is where we live, but our identities also become our prisons. So our empathies allow you to expand, and because we are able to empathize through literature, through theatre, we're able to become bigger and better. I'm not saying better, but richer human beings, and there's no limit to it.
Absolutely.
So all these questions about identity are ridiculous because we are infinite. And literature and theater and people like you help us to believe that, help us to live that, help us to sort of reinforce that. And thank you very much for being with us, and thank you very much for allowing me to shoot from your shoulders.
Thank you so much.
Without performance.
Thank you so much.
How can we have an actor without a performance? So please.
Oh, acha, you. Oh, my.
Something that you would like to enact for us, or something that you'd like to present to us, something that you would want the college students to look at, or whatever is your favorite, some performance. I mean, an actor and without a performance, I can't.
There is one, we perform Piya Bhai in Nautanki form. Like there are some scenes where we have this shero shairi kind of thing. So वो जब वायोला सिज़ारियो बनती है तब वो संदेशा लेके जाता है ना, the Duke's message, he becomes the messenger,
right?
And that time when he's meeting the queen for the first time, Olivia, so she is saying this in our play in Piya Bhai the adaptation. लाया हूँ संदेशा मोहब्बत भरा है ये जिसके लिए उसे कह दूं जरा, खुद खुदा ने बनाई है तस्वीर है पार दिल के जो जाए ये वो तीर है, लेकिन रांझा है वो तेरा उसकी तू हीर है, मेरे राजा की हालत गंभीर है, मेरे राजा की हालत गंभीर है, मेरे राजा की हालत गंभीर है.
क्या बात है.
Ma'am, in the virtual mode, everyone clap. Come on, ma'am, that was amazing.
Thank you.
That's truly amazing, ma'am.
बहुत गंभीर है हालत.
That was really amazing, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm thank you very much, and I was delighted to have you with us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, so we have a few questions in the chat box as well.
Okay.
Ma'am, maybe take a few of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, pardon.
You will ask me, no?
Yes, ma'am. It is given in the. I'll just read them out.
Yeah, so read it because I'll have to wear.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So Ankita Nandi is asking, I have a question. Why do we see so much violence in movies and web series nowadays?
I think because it was my understanding is that because it's till now we have so much of censorship, and suddenly when you are like जब आप जब 18 साल के होते हो तो आपको जो फ्रीडम मिलता है उसके बाद आप जो करते हो वैसे ही वेब सीरीज पे हो गया है कि suddenly you got freedom and you want to show everything. So maybe after some years, it will everybody will understand their own responsibility, and and of course there will be always content which has so much of sex or violence or whatever, and there will be like Gullak doesn't have that, and it has got such a wonderful viewership, and so it depends what you have to choose. I feel that this is all important as a community. We have to cultivate that understanding. Where if we say if there is so much of violence which I don't want to watch, I shouldn't watch it. Just because everybody is saying I want to watch, and then it will keep on happening. If you know why that or why violence is there, why that so much of sex is shown, if you know, and if it's important for the script, then yes, it should be there. I don't believe in censorship at all. But at the same time, as viewers, we have to be more evolved, and that evolution will only happen when we see different things and then we choose, no, I don't want to see this, I want to see this. My choice is this. I don't want to see this kind of cinema, this aesthetics, but I want to see this kind of cinema or web series or this kind of. So we have to evolve as story tellers, as artists, but at the same time, audience has to evolve also. And that will happen only through education. Education of not just formal education, but educating in every, literacy in every form. मतलब film भी देखने की एक literacy है ना, film literacy भी एक चीज है. Which I always give an example कि आप केरला में देखोगे तो एक चाय वाला भी गोदार्थ की फिल्म देखता है. So that literacy has happened, So that is possible because people have put in efforts in film clubs, taking artistic films to smallest of the village, to every common, it should reach to every common person. And if that cultural revolution happens, then we will get evolved as an audience, and then we'll choose. And automatically that kind of stuff will be made, which is more aesthetic, which is more layered, more complex. I'm not against sex and violence, but only thing is it should be not for that sake only. The story should need it, the story should demand it, and then whatever can be shown.
Thank you, ma'am. It is really, the thing is, even Stephen Gossin says that this when he responds to, I think, a response to a pamphlet saying that no, poetry and the art forms are not corrupting. They'll train the people to make their own decisions, whether or not they want to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. So the next question is from Shruti Gautam. Ma'am, which is your favorite work you've done till date?
It's very difficult to tell, but I personally like Gajab Kahani a lot, especially the Marathi play. As I told you, it was very emotional when I played that elephant, and it really made me something really, used to happen to me when I used to do those shows. And it was very close to my heart, that story, the character. And again, because it was not a human being, I was playing an elephant. So it's really, बहुत ही एक अलग स्पेस में लेके जाता था मुझे as a performer, as an actor. And I think also now I can say, as far as screen thing is concerned, I think right now, while doing Sangeeta Wagmare, I felt that I'm trying to, put in something different from whatever I have done till now. So while shooting for Unpaused, for War Room, I felt that as an actor, I'm, doing something more layered, or I was trying to do something more layered, more complex than whatever I was doing till that time. I was trying to find something different. Yeah, so these two performances, I'll say.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions, please put in the chat box, please, everyone. Ma'am, and one more thing I had, you're shooting for a new movie, I think, or series. So Gullak 3 is coming, ma'am?
Yeah. Gullak, we have finished Gullak 3 and it will come in March, I think.
Oh, ma'am, we are all waiting for it.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else wants to add the questions in the chat box? Or should we end the Q&A session? Jenny, ma'am, Rohit, sir, and the others. Ma'am, would you like to give the concluding remarks? Jenny, ma'am, Lalit, sir.
No, I'm sure that it has been very enriching for all the students, as it has been for me. Thank you so much, Geetanjali ma'am, for sparing time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenny ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lalit, sir.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful, we have already thanked it, but on behalf of the entire department, college, let me thank you, ma'am. It's been a wonderful session. You have been so nice to answer all those questions, explaining, throwing light on your journey, as it were, of becoming an artist.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Lalit, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for enriching us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Pleasure was all ours, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, before we move on to the vote of thanks, can we have a group photo?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It will be, group screenshot, as they say in the online space. I request everyone to switch on the cameras.
Please tell me whether my camera is on.
No, sir. You aren't visible. Yes, sir. Now
yes, Rohit, but you are tilted.
Okay. Just a second. Is it okay now?
So you have to tilt it, I think.
Turn to left. Rotate it to left.
Oh.
Need information button.
Just a second.
Mute. Audio set. Stop my window. Alt plus D button. Window settings. Space. Menu. Zoom. More options for.
So you have to just tilt the device to the left.
Device to the left.
Yes, sir. Left or right.
Menu.
You can meanwhile take 1 or 2 shots now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Everyone say cheese.
Cheese.
Ma'am, I've taken a few.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's wait for Rohit if it happens.
Yes, ma'am.
What if we let Rohit be, in a different direction than us?
I'm not able to correct it.
It's okay. You switch on.
I'm turning the laptop.
Oh, wow. Rohit, I have a better idea. Why not do a Shishangasana?
I don't know what's wrong.
Yes, you can switch it on. We can just take a video. Photo.
Let him be. He'll get it right.
If he has a display picture, then maybe it should be used. If you can put a display picture.
Rohit, now turn the. It was on for a while. It seems it's not happening.
Window mouse on alert.
You have to turn the left.
Open chat panel. Alt plus H button. Close. Open participants tab. Close. Open participants panel. 60.
So tilt the device itself to the left.
Okay. Is it okay now?
No, you're horizontal.
Yes, sir. You can
parallel to
let it go. Let it be like that.
Okay, chalo.
No, we don't want you like that, Rohit. We don't want you like that, please.
Rohit is actually like that, I tell you.
That's okay. I think I will.
If you have a display picture, sir, you can put it.
Rohit, take your time, get it right.
Sir, I'm not able to do it.
Then let it be the way Rohit is.
Then let it be like that. I'm so sorry.
Yes, sir. We can edit.
Never mind.
Click the.
Yes, sir. We can edit it and put his picture.
Please do that.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone say cheese.
And also do that whenever I am not around.
Once more, cheese. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Geetanjali.
Thank you. There's a vote of thanks which is left. I'm so sorry for the delay.
Okay.
I would like to invite Abhipsa Vispas, the Joint Secretary of Zest, to propose the vote of thanks.
Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. Henry Watt. Upon this fine evening of a beautiful day and a beautiful session, I, Abhipsa Viswas, the Joint Secretary of Zest, extend immense gratitude on behalf of each Zestian to our Honorable Speaker of the Day, Mrs. Geetanjali Kulkarni. Thank you, ma'am, for meeting us today and enlightening us with your invaluable words that have created lasting imprints on our minds and hearts. It has been such an honor getting to interact with you during today's session. In fact, witnessing your performance firsthand and then getting an insight into the world of drama, theater, and acting. What goes on behind the screens, struggles, and improvements. Sincere thanks to Dr. Rohit P., our HOD, our honorable professors, and all the faculty members of Zest for providing their constant guidance and support in the successful conduction of this session. We also thank Mr. Dipankar, Geetanjali ma'am's manager, for facilitating clear coordination throughout and helping us conducting this session smoothly. Sincere thanks to Rajkumar sir and Sudhakar sir for assisting us in this handling the technicalities, which played a very crucial role in online mode of learning. We thank all the attendees without whose enthusiastic participation, the objectives of this lecture would not be achieved. Last but not the least, a big thanks to all the team members of Zest who have been arduously working on planning, organizing, and successfully conducting not only this lecture, but all the previous ones of our lecture series from Pandemonium to Paradise that has now come to an end. We are elated to have finished this beautiful journey and look forward to conducting many such enlightening sessions in the future. The essence of a fruit is always tasted at the last, and we believe last will be the best ever. Farewell and best wishes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
ma'am. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
So we all also can leave